Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. I'm Matt and thank you for clicking on today's video. Okay, I know I say this like literally every week, but today's video honestly is gonna be a fun one. Today I'm going to be looking at 1-star reviews of my 5-star books, and I don't know why I'm deciding to do this to myself, but I think it'll be funny to look at all of them, but also painful because my 5-star books are like pieces of my soul. So just like hearing people's negative thoughts about them might hurt a little bit. But I'm gonna be looking at like the unhinged ones. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a blast, and I'm so excited to dive into this. So a lot of these books are probably gonna be ones that I've talked about fairly frequently on my channel because they are my 5-star reads. I love them and I just want to talk about them literally all the time at any given chance. So it may not come to a surprise when I'm starting with Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. This is an adult queer contemporary romance between the Prince of England and the son of the first female president of the United States. I haven't even like looked at any of reviews yet. I am fully just opening Goodreads right now and clicking on different ones. I have absolutely no plans for this in any ways. I film on my phone, so I'm looking everything up on my iPad. 4 years ago, somebody said, "This book is unbearably cheesy and possesses zero literary merit. Like reading Tumblr tag meta, but worse. I'm horrified that this was called exquisite by the New York Times, which has clearly fallen into disrepute." I don't think I pronounced that last word right. I personally think it possesses literary merit. Cause like, there's like those lines in the emails that they write to each other where it's just like heart-stopping, you know? 4 years ago, somebody said, "Let's be honest, I will never finish this boring as F book, D and F at about 40%. Trying to think what 40% is. I'm guessing around here. You know what? I totally get that because a lot of this book is kind of like politics. Like, there's a lot of politics in this book, and I may not be a politics girly, but I still enjoyed it. But I get if you didn't enjoy it because, like, I don't know. I think, yeah, that's fair. Because sometimes we're not entertained by the same thing. So, go off. I respect your opinion. This one just says, "Ryan Atwood's voice, you know what I like about rich kids? Nothing." I don't know how to respond to that. This one just says, "Absolutely not." This person says, "I'm really concerned for the people who recommended this book to me." You probably should be. You know what? That's totally fair. I'm not saying I'm a sane and stable person. Sometimes when I read this book, it literally sends me into a emotional mental breakdown spiral because of how much I love it. Is that a good thing? No, you should be concerned. This person just says no. This one says, "Pandering and written in all the same witty, quirky, corny, panicked tone. This book is a manufactured trash bag doused in confetti sprinkle scent." My question is, what's wrong with it written in like the witty, quirky, corny? I don't know what they mean by panicked, but if it's a manufactured trash bag, it's a gorgeous one, and I'm here for it. I'm just really impressed by their choice of words. DNF, "I'm not sure I'm reading the same book as everyone else." Maybe you're not. Maybe you got the wrong book. I've reached the end. You know what? It's fine. Some of these are honestly pretty funny. I was kind of expecting more unhinged ones, but there's honestly not that many 1-star reviews for it, and I'm not gonna dive into the ones that are like paragraphs long because then that takes the fun out of reading unhinged reviews. Next, I'm gonna do my other favorite Casey McQuiston book, and that is One Last Stop. Again, adult queer contemporary romance, and it has a fun kind of like sci-fi magic-y twist to it. I feel like this one might have more criticisms than Red, White, and Royal Blue. So we're gonna see. I hope that when I wake up tomorrow morning, I won't remember anything about this hideous book. Man. You know what? Sometimes we all wish for book amnesia. We can never forget the ones that we actually want to forget. This book is about the absolute worst kind of people, lowest dregs of humanity, scum of the earth, by which I of course mean people who engage in PDA on public transportation. You know what? That's fair. It's always really uncomfortable to see people engaging in PDA and public transportation, and that's kind of like half this book. But they're also stuck on a train and getting in a relationship. It's kind of like unavoidable. But I get it. I get it. I really do. I get what you're saying, because honestly, if I was a bystander to what was happening in this book, I would be just kind of concerned and weirded out. I get it. I get the pain. I guess I never looked at it from that perspective. How unlikable can you possibly make your characters? You know what? That's valid. Sometimes characters aren't for everybody. And I can see why somebody wouldn't like August. I get it. Sometimes you hate the characters and that really just brings the entire book down for you. Ooh, another character hate review. I'm infinitely angry about this book that reads like fan fiction and is entirely unrealistic. Every character besides August is extremely interesting and dimensional, yet she comes off as a flat Diet Coke. Once again, I understand if you don't like August. I do agree that the side characters are extremely interesting and I would read literally anything about them. Book that comes off like fan fiction, I can see it. I can totally see this like being fan fiction. So fair. But also, some fan fiction is like some of the most gorgeous things you'll ever read. So like, what kind of fan fiction are we talking about here? Are we talking about like the old like cringy Wattpad fan fiction? Or are we talking about the like very intricate like 200,000 word fic AO3 fan fiction? Because those are two very different vibes. The synopsis is the only good thing about this book. Anything that happens in this book barely makes any sense. Also, it's an insta love situation thing too. I would say like more like insta crush, you know? It's like a public transportation crush, you know, you take the same bus as this like one person and you're like, hi, I'm in love with you, and you kind of have like a crush on them for no reason. But this time they actually get to like develop this like crush. But I get what you're saying. Also, you're right. Nothing makes sense in this book. And I just elect to ignore it because that's one of my beige flags, is that if I love the book enough and nothing makes sense, I won't care. Very confused with all the high reviews because this book is seriously terrible. That's fair. We all have those books. This one just says, review to come, I need to compile my thoughts. But that was 2 years ago. Maybe the compiling the thoughts is still in action. This poor person's still trying to process everything that they just read. This book was so bad, super cringy, made me want to start crying because of how bad it was. That's fair. It does have a lot of modern references, and I know that's not what people like. Like, I know a lot of people don't like the modern day references, or when they make kind of like modern day jokes or whatever. And I get some things can come across as cringy. Literally the worst book I've ever read. I think this is the same person who wrote a kind of a similar one for Red, White, and Royal Blue. They're just like hate reading Casey McQuiston's books at this point, man. The only interesting part of this book was Wes and Isaiah's relationship. The rest was boring and everything went too smooth. You know what? That's fair. I was also highly invested in Wes's and Isaiah's relationship, and I'm sad I didn't get more of them. And everything really did go smooth. So if you wanted a bumpier ride for something that, yeah, probably would be bumpy if it happened in real life, not that it would happen in real life because she's stuck on a train in time. But I get it. I do get it. Okay, that's the end of the unhinged 1-star reviews on Goodreads for One Last Stop. Next up, we have One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus, and this one is a YA contemporary mystery kind of thriller, and is genuinely one of my favorite books. I love these characters. So let's dive in to the unhinged 1-star reviews. A friend recommended I read it. I read it. We're no longer friends. I don't know if I should feel bad for the person reviewing or the friend, but that sounds like a rough situation. This person says, y'all know that song Creep that's explicitly dedicated to this because it doesn't belong on Earth, or anywhere really, unless that's at the bottom of the toilet, laughs and mentally scarred. That's a very, very strong opinion, and I enjoy the gift that they included with this review. This person said, I liked how unique every perspective was, but I kind of figured out the whodunit pretty early on. That's fair. I also figured out who did it pretty early on, but I think I was too like obsessed and into it to actually care. McManus should pay me compensation for my lost brain cells. No character agency, no character voice, nothing. It hurts. I don't know what you mean by character agency. It's funny how one person goes from like saying how unique each perspective is and the next saying how there's like no character in it. I just really love seeing all the different perspectives. Predictable, cliche, and full of stereotypes. Took me 20 days to read it, which never happens to me. It was slow and can't see what the hype is all about. It is predictable, cliche, and full of stereotypes. I will say that. But it's like cliche and full of stereotypes in the way that The Breakfast Club is full of stereotypes, like it plays off of them. But that's fair. I get it. Chapter 1 and 2 is great, and then it's just BS. Did not finish, and question to watch the series. Disappointed. I don't know. If you didn't like the book, you might like the series. I didn't like the series. I only got through a couple of episodes and I'm like, this is not it. Finally finished this. Phew. I need to buy my Christmas present now to forget the trauma this book gave me. But what trauma? I want to know what trauma, like what are we talking about here? Like, because it was so bad. It was probably because it was so bad. It's a 1-star review. That's fair. You know what? You got through it. You deserve a treat. Ooh, this one's my favorite. It just says, really? Yes, really? Yes. This person says, see, but I'd argue that none of them were actually lying. No, but they were. It depends on what they're lying about. Like, yeah, they weren't really lying about not knowing who did it, but they were very much lying about why Simon had information on them, you know? So, yes, but no, if that makes sense. Last one, absolutely terrible, poor characterization of female characters. Cringy early 2010 movie tropes used. That's totally fair. I definitely see what you mean about the characterization of female characters, but it also plays a lot on stereotypes, so I think that kind of plays into it too. But that's honestly so fair. Next one, I'm kind of scared actually for the ones on this next one. This one is a very loved book, so I'm very curious to see what the 1-star reviews are. And that is One of Us, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. Again, YA mystery contemporary thriller. What more do you need? Very much similar to One of Us is Lying. Oh, I've seen this one before. I feel like a lot of people will post this one when talking about like 1-star reviews of their favorite books. And that is, from the moment she said, holy pepperoni, I realized I was too old to be reading this book. That's fair. I totally get it. The banter and sometimes the dialogue is very YA and high school, but also this book series gets so intense that like I don't even remember her saying holy pepperoni because I just remember the trauma that she endured in the last one. So I say that if that's what's holding you back, try to stick it out a little bit because it gets so much more intense. I made a Goodreads account just so I could give this book 1 star. That's dedication. Creating an entire account on an app and website just to rate something, you really hated that, and that's fair. I'm concerned for this author. It appears they've never once met a real human being in their life. I don't know what this person's referring to, but okay. I don't know. I felt like some people were kind of realistic, but maybe not. It was so bad, I want to give it a 0, but that's not possible, so I give it a 1. You need to like cue the Tyra Banks audio. I find that funny. I love it when reviews like play off of like memes or something. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, more like a nosy teen's guide to drama with I liked the guy excuse. You know what? Okay, part of this is honestly kind of valid because, not gonna lie, Pip just kind of got herself involved with something she didn't necessarily need to be involved with, but she also kind of helped out for the better. But the I liked the guy excuse, I stand by this when I talk about A Good Girl's Guide to Murder every time. It is like not really a romance. Yeah, there's romance aspects to it, but that is not the basis of the book. So I don't know where they got that part from, but I will always stand by it. It is not a romance. This one just says, y'all lied to me. I'm sorry, babe. Overhyped, predictable, and too YA for my liking. Well, it is a YA book. Yeah, it might be a little bit too YA for you if you don't like YA books. The mixture of poorly executed tropes and immature writing was too much for me. That's so funny because honestly, like, when I think about this book and I'm trying to recommend it to people and I try to think about tropes associated with it, I have such a hard time thinking of the tropes. I feel like there's not that many very popular tropes in here. So I find this just kind of funny because I want to know what tropes that they're talking about. I don't know if I should even count that I read this one since I skimmed the whole thing. I really couldn't get into it at all and I didn't really like the main character. It was super cheesy and very unrealistic. Sometimes I thrive off of cheesy and unrealistic. That's probably why I'm such a YA girly. A lot of them are kind of cheesy and unrealistic. Yeah, they are. No! I hated the main character more than I disliked the story. That's tragic. I'm sorry. I could see Pip being a hit or miss character, so I get it. I really do. I reached the end of the 1-star reviews. This next one's gonna hurt me. Okay. We have Aristotle and Dante discover the secrets of the universe. Next up is Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. And this is going to be the last one that I talk about in today's video, but let's see what I find. No idea where the rave reviews are coming from. Characters are shallow, unlikable, weak. Storyline is ridiculous. Sounded like a junior high schooler writing this for a class. I mean, if a junior high student is writing this, then I'm going to be impressed. Also slightly concerned. But are the characters kind of shallow and sometimes unlikable? Yeah. But I feel that way about literally every one of Taylor Jenkins Reid's characters. But this one, I did enjoy the characters a little bit more. But like, I get it. Very, very cheap soap. I don't know what that means, but okay. I suppose this could be 2 stars, but I'm giving it 1 because I'm very mad right now. You know what? That's fair. I'm not gonna judge you for that. Literally terrible. Would not recommend to my worst enemy. Would probably make an okay movie though. Why would it be a bad book and an okay movie? Reid really loves writing about cheaters and homewreckers, doesn't she? And thus, I loathed every single character besides Nina and Jay. Thank you for giving love to Nina and Jay though, because I do love those two. You do make a good point. Taylor Jenkins Reid really does write a lot about cheaters and homewreckers, and sometimes it hurts, but sometimes she does it really well, so. This person just said, hot garbage. Emphasis on the hot. I really love this book. Oh, this one is quoting Chef Gordon Ramsay when a home-cooked chef disappoints him. Really disappoints him. This isn't a pizza. This is a mistake. This is an Italian tragedy. Apparently, this is just an Italian tragedy. I don't think it's Italian, but those are all the books I'm going to be talking about today. Some of these were just very interesting. Some of them were valid. Honestly, totally fair. I get it. Please let me know if you want me to do a part 2 to this video because I totally will. And I have plenty more 5-star books to talk about. Thank you for watching today's video. I hope you all enjoyed. As always, please like, comment, and subscribe below, and I will see you all next week. Bye!